The Alabama Crimson Tide and new head coach Kalen Deboer may be set to make their first strategic move of the spring portal. Stick around. This is Way Offsides. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. You all love recruiting. More than recruiting, you love the transfer portal. I don't know why, but the videos always seem to do well, at least to our standards. We're growing. But you guys love to talk about the transfer portal. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about what's going on. Now, Alabama's been pretty quiet in the spring portal. It's been open for a couple of days. I believe it closes on the 25th. There's not been a lot of movement in the Alabama locker room, give or take. That is not necessarily a bad thing, but there are some areas of this team that you would like to see kind of shored up. One of those areas being the tight end position, right? I get that all the time. Hey, Cotton, it's the tight end and the defensive line. People want to know when Alabama's going to address those two issues. Well, there's good news on the horizon. If you haven't been paying attention, if you've been living under a rock, just a couple of days ago, not long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Troy tight end Brody Dalton announced his entrance into the transfer portal. Now, this I get it. It's a guy from Troy. You're like, what? Troy? Why does Alabama want to go get a guy from Troy? Well, because he's 6'5", 250 pounds. He's got some eligibility left. He is a big guy, right? And I don't know about you guys, but based off of what teams like Texas, Georgia have been doing the past couple of years, I want to see Alabama utilize big tight ends, really big tight ends, right? Guys with good hands. But there's another aspect that Alabama expects from their tight ends, and that is they got to be able to block. They got to be able to get out there and run support. They got to be able to get out there in front of a wide receiver and lay some lumber, put some guys on their back so that these guys can get in the open space and go to work, right? Brody Dalton seems like somebody who can do that. I've been watching some tape on this kid. He's legit, man. He's legit. He's as advertised. I'm not really sure. Maybe he just didn't get the looks coming out of high school. Maybe he's just been coached up well while at Troy. That would be my guess. Troy does have a very good coaching system there. And so he's entered the portal. Alabama's in play here heavy for Brody Dalton. Does Alabama land him? I don't know. What do you think? This is for the viewer to decide. I need your input here on what you think. I will say that in terms of targets in the portal, he's probably very high on the list, especially being he's from Fife, Alabama, in-state gym. Kalen Deboer wants to make a name for himself in state. This is a great way to do that, especially moving forward with this 2026 class. A lot of people made a big deal about nothing when Kalen Deboer, Alabama, for the first time in decades, didn't win the state in recruiting in 2025, but still beat out every other school in the state in terms of their overall recruiting class. But Bama's on the trajectory up in the state of Alabama, and this would certainly help matters, right? So you look at this guy again. He's a very, very, very big tight end. Like we said, 6'5", 250, heavy, big body guy, right? Like I said, he's from Alabama. That's a huge deal. He appeared in, I think, 12 games last year. I think he played in every game, and he averaged about 12 yards a catch. He caught 15 passes last year for 188 yards. He scored 3 times. Now, primarily in Alabama system, what we've seen historically, even with Nick Saban at the helm, is we don't use tight ends in the pass game until we absolutely need them, right? Until nothing else is working. You kind of saw that last year with Cuevas and some other guys. When nothing else was working, Milroe was finding these guys, kind of sprinting down the middle of the field, things like that. And so you could get him in that kind of situation, but really he is going to be a big deal coming, in the run game. That's where he's going to excel. He's, again, man, his ties to the state of Alabama in terms of recruiting are big. Dalton not only is coming from Troy, but he also spent some time at UAB. He's familiar with the area. You know, UAB is 45 minutes from Tuscaloosa, the Birmingham area. And so I think being the fact that Ryan Grubb just kind of came off the spring talking about, you know, there's some shortage of healthy tight ends at Alabama. You've got some guys that are dinged up. They lose CJ Dupree last year to the draft. But you've got some other guys who you can look forward to. Jay Lindsey, obviously Daniel Lewis Jr., somebody everybody's excited about. But this guy would be an immediate plug-and-play type kid, and I think it would make some serious noise in the transfer portal. I know that's not necessarily what everybody wants to hear, because a lot of you guys want to see Alabama go after some defensive ends. You want to see these, you know, you want to see that pass rush kind of get amped up. I don't necessarily think that's going to be a problem, especially with the addition of Kelby Collins this year. Just posted another video on that. You guys, make sure you go check it out. Go watch it. You'll feel better about that. I've been saying, I've said it on the lives that happen every Thursday night. Tight end is definitely a point of need and emphasis for Kalen Deboer moving forward. Ryan Grubb. I mean, you think about a guy who's 6'5", 250, right? You've got this lethal group of wide receivers that Alabama is blessed with this season. But then you got to worry about that guy. And you kind of looking at Georgia a couple of years ago with Brock Bowers, that kind of size, not saying that kind of talent, that kind of size. But then you've got a much better and well-rounded group of wide receivers. So as a defensive coordinator, it's a nightmare to account for. And I mean, this is going to be a guy that if he does end up at Alabama, and I think he's going to, I'll just say it, I think he's going to end up at Alabama. He's got a visit coming up. I think this would be a big deal. And a lot of people are going to write it off. He's a Troy guy, you know, played at UAB, blah, 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 this and that. And Keelan Russell was also committed to SMU at one point in time. And everybody laughed at that. So what these guys have proven over and over and over again, when it comes to the talent evaluation, they know what they're doing. I trust in this coaching staff, especially with Ryan Grubb coming on. Just keep an eye on Brody Dalton. It'd be nice to have another Brody in Crimson, right? My pre-Saban guys know what I'm talking about. So, hey guys, we want to thank you all for just how much you support us. Really, you guys have done great. We have to ask that, you know, if you're seeing the videos, please leave a like, a comment, send them to your friends. Tell your friends, hey, check these guys out. Come join them. We're all Bama all the time. We talk about some other things. We just had a video about Nico kind of do well. So we want to expand what we're doing, and we really rely on you guys to do that. Some of you have been there since day one. You're very active with us, especially on the lives, which, by the way, we've got one coming up this Thursday, 8 p.m. Central. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Also, Bill is outside of the country. If you don't subscribe, he can't come home. So we need 1,000 subs by the end of May. If that doesn't happen, Bill is stuck. I can't tell you where he is, but he's stuck. He's not allowed to come home. So that's the deal. So if you miss Bill, make sure you subscribe. We appreciate all of you. We love you. Just, I can't tell you just how blessed we are that we've got such a great following and just some amazing people who are behind us like you guys are. And you know the drill. We say it at the end of every show. Say your prayers, wash your hands, read your Bibles, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.